The short answer is no. Yo, what is up everybody, Mad Luigi here, and today we're going to be talking about a question on a lot of people's minds as Dark Souls 3 is about over. Is there going to be a Dark Souls 4? Is there going to be more Dark Souls content in the future? The short answer, as I said in the beginning, is no, but the actual answer is a bit more complex than that. And just to say, this video is a bit more casual than my normal videos. I'm going off script and just a little bit of PvP footage, so hope you guys enjoy it. But getting into the topic, so why do I think there's not going to be a Dark Souls 4? I don't, because the director of Dark Souls, Hidetaka Miyazaki, has said as of Dark Souls 3 The Ring City, the Dark Souls series is complete. They don't have any further future plans to make more Dark Souls content. So we aren't going to get an actual successor to Dark Souls, namely Dark Souls 4. That doesn't seem to be happening at all. It seems that really this is the last proper Dark Souls. But I don't think we have to fret too much, as I do think we're going to get more Dark Souls-like content in the future. Miyazaki also said this, that the team at From Software is currently working on a number of games that should be interesting. They're not concerned about whether they resemble Dark Souls or not. Now, I think this gives credence to the idea that we'll have more Dark Souls content, maybe in somewhat similar sense to Bloodborne, because when asked about the difficulty in Dark Souls, Miyazaki gave a similar answer. He said that the games aren't meant to be hard. They're not trying to make them hard. They just end up being hard as a result of the type of game that From Software wants to make. So if we apply that logic to this statement, that they're not concerned about whether they make a game that resembles Dark Souls or not, that would lend credence to the fact that they're not trying to make a game that is Dark Souls-like or a successor to Dark Souls, but because they're so developed at making Dark Souls-like games, they have so much practice at it, they're so good at it, that's their comfort zone, we can expect some form of Dark Souls-like content in the future. Obviously, there's going to be a different setting, it's going to be a different universe, new characters, new world building, all of that. However, I do think it's safe to say that of the next 3 games that From Software is working on, or maybe even in the future past those 3 games, that we're going to get some content that scratches the itch that Dark Souls scratched, with the gameplay focused game that is pretty challenging and rewards you for taking note of your surroundings, being keen to detail, like we've gotten from Demon's Souls, Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, and Bloodborne. I do think the next Dark Souls game, or I guess I shouldn't call it the next Dark Souls game, the next couple games that From Software is going to put out, I do think in that there will be a game similar to Bloodborne. Not necessarily specifically Bloodborne, but the idea of Bloodborne, that a game similar to Souls, slightly different, but the same main focus, but in a new setting, so that the From Software team can explore new characters, new settings, new everything, test the waters for new things. So I do think that we'll get another Dark Souls-esque game, but that it's not going to be literally Dark Souls 4. Some more possible proof of that is how much we take the symbolism in the painter and the painting that she is painting. In my previous lore videos, I've talked about the painter and the end of the DLC, The Ring City, so I guess spoilers if you haven't beaten it. But at the end of The Ring City, we give the painter the Dark Soul, and she says she's going to paint a new world from the Dark Soul, and it's going to be dark and gentle and cold and awesome. What I'm thinking is that the painting, and I said this in the previous video, kind of represents From Software's new game. It's going to be based on something old, the Dark Soul, but it's going to be completely new. It's not going to have any of the same elements as the old thing. The new painting in the end of Dark Souls 3, The Ring City, seems to be something that won't have all the issues that the current world of Dark Souls has, like the first flame, the fire fading, the cycles, all that. I think it's going to be separate from that. And symbolically, this could be From Software's new game, in which everything is different, but it's based on the same. And the only key part that's really returning is the player. Just like the painter names her new painted world after the player. This could be From Software saying, as I kind of already said, that They're going to be making a new game based on their old game, Dark Souls, so there will be more Dark Souls-like content, but the only real key factor that's this exact same is going to be us, the players, since I do think most of us that have enjoyed the Souls series is definitely going to check out, be on the lookout for From Software's new content, since we are hoping for, at least, not necessarily expecting, something that fills the niche, the itch that Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, and Bloodborne and Demon Souls filled. So that's the majority of my ideas about the future of Dark Souls 4, quote unquote. Not really Dark Souls 4, but something like it. Let me know what you guys think about Dark Souls 4 or the future of From Software in the comments below. For all you guys that want more lore, I will be posting a new lore-ish video later this week. It'll be a video talking about how Dark Souls 3 tells a story, and we're going to be looking at some lore in the Ring City that I haven't looked at yet to kind of explain, show, display how From Software tells a story through Dark Souls 3 and, by extension, the other Dark Souls, Bloodborne. I am really excited for that video. That's going to be a more traditional prepared video, unlike this more ad-lib video. But yeah, tell me guys if you like this different style. I don't do a lot of these ad-lib videos anymore. I used to do a good amount when I did other content. But maybe I'll do more of these if you guys like them. It is a bit easier since I don't need to make a big script. I don't need to prepare a lot of specific footage since I'm kind of just talking about whatever comes up on my mind. But that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit up my Twitter, and peace out.